Hey there. Thanks for joining us for this evening's trip to the Cat Marina. It's a lovely place to spend an evening walking around, especially if you like boats. And cats, of course. The Cat Marina is a little closed-off stretch of river with many brightly colored houseboats moored along its banks. Some very lovely people live in these boats, but let's be honest, the loveliest thing about this charming spot is its feline residents. In every boat lives at least one cat, sometimes more than one. Should you care to take a stroll along the Cat Marina, maybe early in the morning or at dusk, the cat's favorite times of day, you're bound to run into a few of these tremendous creatures. The Cat Marina isn't open to everyone. You have to have a key. Without one, the best you can hope for is a glimpse through the foliage. If you press your nose through the bars of the wrought iron gate that's thickly grown over with ivy. But you do have a key. Just slide it into the creaky lock and turn. Then push the gate open. It's a little stiff, and make your way along the path. Underfoot, tufts of grass and wildflowers are pressing their way up through the cracked paving stones. On one side of you is the mossy green river, lined with colorful canal boats, moored end to end. They sit low in the water, their little windows framed with pretty curtains, and some have a collection of potted plants and patio furniture on their roofs for sitting out in good weather. On your other side is a thick bank of hedgerows and trees, completely screening out the road that lies beyond. It's a restful spot. There are ducks chattering out on the water, the low murmur of someone's radio, an occasional airplane breaking through the clouds far above. If you listen hard, you might hear the boats bumping each other gently in the breeze. You're sitting on the bench you found, facing a rickety old boat called Making Waves. It looks like it's seen a few storms. If you stay quiet and pretend you're not even interested in cats, you might be rewarded with a glimpse of Lucy Mew. Lucy is a real scaredy cat, but as well as being timid, she's incurably inquisitive, which makes for an interesting combination. One night, the guy who now looks after her, Brian, heard the pitter-patter of feet on the roof, is making waves, and a plaintive little mew outside his window. That's how she got her name, and they've been inseparable ever since. She's a splendid black cat with a clean white bib, as demure and self-possessed as Brian and his boat are disheveled. Look, there she is, peeping at you from around the edge of the open door, nose and whiskers twitching. Glance the other way, and she'll be tiptoeing over to take a sniff of your ankles in no time. That's her way of getting to know you. Saba is the very grand feline who lives with her owners, Theo and Mitzi, on their boat, Journey. Journey is the biggest boat in the marina. It has a massive, spacious deck. Right now, Saba is reclining there in her very own hammock, one right leg extended sideways, causing the fur on her middle to fluff up like an ice cream sundae. On any other cat, this posture might seem undignified, except that Saba could never look undignified. She's too sophisticated. She peers across at you through half-closed eyes, licks her white chest a few times, and then returns to her doze. She's long-haired and white all over, except for a few coffee swirls, and she wears a smart black velvet collar adorned with a little bell. The bell is intended to scare away birds, but Saba has never caught a bird in her life. She's too lazy. There doesn't seem to be anybody around. If you go over to the boat and reach over the side to give Saba's fluffy belly a few strokes, your hand will sink right in. She purrs contentedly and squints up at you as though to say, "Oh, why yes, I really am an exquisite creature." The friendliest cat in the marina is Floofy. Floofy will run up to someone he's never met like a little dog and pat them on the knee with his fluffy paw. He's the fluffiest cat you've ever seen. A ginger Persian with wild curly whiskers and a tiny pushed-in nose like a stuck button. His owner, Cheryl, has to brush him twice a day to keep his fur from becoming hopelessly matted. Floofy has the grumpiest expression, but the sweetest nature. As you pass his boat, he rushes over to you and lies down at your feet in adoration. Now he's squeezing his eyes shut, rapturously, which is a cat's way of saying I love you. Gazing out across the water, you'll observe a group of fuzzy ducklings bobbing along behind their mother. The mother duck is quite plain in a way, with muted brown coloring, unlike the snazzier male of her species, who you can see nearby, showing off his satiny green neck and white collar. But if you look closer, you'll see how beautiful the mother duck's markings are, like wood grain almost, or maybe tortoise shell, dark and light brown layered together in a series of soft zigzags. The ducks glide over to a part of the bank uncluttered by boats, where the mother duck leads her offspring out of the water. You noticed a patch of iridescent blue with a white bit partially hidden in the mother's tail feathers. It feels like a glimpse of something magical. She shrugs her wings, waggles her behind, and settles down plumply on the ground as her children begin to nuzzle in around her. Some of the little ones are having trouble clambering out of the water. The last duckling out pauses, stands up tall as she can, not very, and holds out her tiny wings to shake off some droplets of water. Then she hurries off to catch up with her siblings. Here's a sleek black cat scrambling up a tree in pursuit of a squirrel. This is Lady Margaret. She's technically a stray, but she lives at the marina most of the time, and somehow she ended up with a name. It must have been chosen because of her royal manners. She keeps herself in absolutely pristine condition, so you never know she sleeps underneath a bush most nights. Lady Margaret now perches in the fork of the tree, gazing upwards, unblinkingly. But the squirrel has made itself scarce. As you pass beneath the tree, Lady Margaret's ears go back, registering the sound of your footsteps. When she turns her head, you see her yellowy green eyes are the color of serpentine crystal. There's something magical about them. Some people consider black cats to be bad luck, but you only have to spend a few moments with Lady M to feel like you've received a special blessing. She looks quite at home in the tree, and now, without leaving her post, she begins her beauty regime, carefully washing her face with one licked paw and then the other. She has company, after all. Here's a bright blue boat with a red roof. There's an intense floral fragrance here. The roof and deck of the boat are covered with flowering plants, trailing colorful blooms and scent. Among this riot of color and greenery, you can see a sizable brown paw poking between the boat's railings, and quite some distance further along, the tip of a bushy tail twitching. What a long cat! In fact, the tail and paw belong to Quincy, an elegant Maine Coon, the largest breed of cat, who lives with his sister Kimchi. Kimchi now appears at the front of the boat, stalking gracefully along the roof, with her tail held high like an extravagant plume on a pirate's hat. She pauses where an empty plant saucer has been collecting rainwater and dips her head to lap at it delicately. When she raises her head again, you can see droplets on her whiskers. She turns to look at you down her long nose, a very serious expression on her face. She has a thick mane of silvery black fur, and her tufty elven ears point straight upwards. Now she lets out a little trill and sets off along the roof again. You're strolling along the path running alongside the river when a dark blur streaks in front of you and clamps itself around your ankle. You look down to see a black and white kitten clinging to the hem of your pants. This is BB, one of a litter of 5 born 3 months ago to the marina's resident stray, known to everyone as Lady Margaret, under a bush at the other end of the marina. BB's brothers and sisters have all found homes outside the marina, but BB is happiest by the water. She lets go of your leg, gives a little high-pitched mew, and trots over to the edge of the river, which she gazes down into with fascination. Soon she is reaching out a paw to bat at her reflection. For a moment it looks as though she might be about to fall in, but then a passing damselfly catches her attention and she darts after it. A little further along the path, the skittish tortoiseshell cat batting at wind chimes on the roof of her boat is Esmeralda Moscovitz III, also known as Esme, EM3, Moscow, Esco, Motown, the Big Three, the Little Three, and about 100 other names. Esmeralda is a wild one. Not long out of kittenhood, she'll leap about a foot in the air at the slightest provocation. When you approach her, she spins around on her back legs, with her eyes wide and her front paws up, and the wind chimes tinkle chaotically. She likes people, so she leaps off the boat to the ground at your feet, meowing with urgency, in the hope that she might be about to be fed. There's something special about Esmeralda. Besides her name, she's a polydactyl cat, which means she has more than the usual number of toes on each paw. This makes it look like she has thumbs. When she stands still for long enough, you can see that her front paws spread out like a little mittened hand. She holds up one part as if to wave hello or goodbye, and then she dances off, leaping now to the left, now to the right, no apparent destination in mind, just wherever the will takes her. One of the boats is called Angelina. The name is written in curly yellow lettering on the side. Angelina is in pristine condition, newly painted in red and green. The cat who lives here is called Sarge. Sarge is the boss of the Marina cats. He's a big mackerel tabby with a formidable physique, and he looks like he works out. The other cats don't mess with Sarge. Right now he's sitting upright on the roof of Angelina, surveying the scene. When you pass, he turns his head regally to see who the newcomer might be, and looks you right in the eye with his salty golden gaze. Resting a while against a tree, you notice a robust ginger cat reclining on the bank in front of a gleaming red boat called Emily. This is Juan Antonio Lopez Hernandez, who must surely be the coolest cat in the marina. He has a nick in one ear and a small scar across his nose. Those are old wounds, though. Overall, he looks like he might have been a bit of a tough guy back in the day, but now he's settled down to enjoy the quiet life. His owner, Maria, named him after her grandfather who died 2 days before she picked Juan Antonio up from the shelter. There was something about the cat that reminded him of the old man. Right now he's leaning up on one elbow, observing you beatifically, his 2 back legs kicked out, making a peace sign. Maria calls him El Budista, or Buddha, because she says he's basically a Buddhist now. As he watches you, his eyes begin to close, and he seems to be smiling with incredible fondness as a deep and resonant purring commences. Ginger was so named by his contrary owner, Marge. Contrary because, well, he's not actually Ginger. He's a fluffy black and white cat sporting a luxurious ruff as though he fancies himself some sort of 16th century prince. Marge lives on a rather beaten-up boat down at the end of the marina. She works as a veterinary nurse, and while she'd have to love a whole gang of moggies keeping her warm at night, she just doesn't have the space. So she makes do with Ginger and feeds him as if you were 2 or 3 or 4 cats. Ginger is rotund and fabulous about it. Right now he's striding purposefully along the towpath, looking for a nice place to throw himself down. He's pretty self-involved, so he's not all that interested in people unless they're carrying treats. He knows everyone adores him, so he just gives you a quick glance, a celebrity graciously acknowledging a fan, and continues on his way, swishing his bushy tail. It happens to have a leaf caught in it. Pearl is a new cut on the block. a glorious part Siamese creature with velvety brown legs and ears, and a nose that might have been dipped in cocoa. The rest of her is the color of hot milk, with just a little bit of a coffee hint, like a badly made latte perhaps, only this is a beautifully made cat. She's sitting upright on an upturned plant pot someone has left at the side of the towpath, and as you approach, tentatively holding your hand out, she meows appreciatively. She's not shy. Turning her head on its side, she rubs her cheek back and forth across the side of your hand. Then, sensing an opportunity, she steps off the plant pot and trots a few feet away to a last shaft of sunlight where she plops down onto her side and then her back. She holds her forepaws aloft, bent at the wrist, and gazes at you confidently that you won't be able to resist this opportunity to bend down and rub her belly. Of course, she's right. It's dusk. From your vantage point on a bench about halfway along the path, you can take in the whole scene. The cats are generally on good terms and try to keep to their own territory, but occasionally a little face-off occurs. You see Esmeralda leap onto Quincy and Kimchi's boat and come face to face with Kimchi, who stares her down with a formidable expression. Other cats are waking from their naps and stretching, getting ready for a night of prowling or staring out across the water as the light fades, their eyes gleaming. 3 swans, a mother, and 2 fuzzy gray cygnets glide past on the green water. You settle back on the bench, your hands resting on your lap, allowing your eyes to close as a cool breeze ripples across your skin.